have the beautiful chunks of pork already cut up, and let's start the wonderful marinade. All right, now the first thing I do is take a little bit of this, which is your what do you call it? It's your sesame oil, and you just put a little bit. You don't need a lot because it'll be overpowering, so just spread a little bit on, and it gives it that nice kind of Cantonese flavor, which we all know, and it's really nice because it kind of brings a bit of a richer flavor to your chassis. Okay. Then we add in some garlic powder. Not too much. You could put fresh garlic in if you like it. All right. So I'm just going to add a little bit because I'm going to use some seasoning. If you don't have the seasoning, it's okay. For me in Bangkok, in Thailand here, they have this cool stuff. It's no MSG, blah, blah, blah. And so it just makes it easier, but this is essentially garlic and pepper seasoning mix. All right. Like I said, again, no MSG in there. All right, and then the next thing I'm going to do is, I love turmeric. I'm going to put a little bit of turmeric powder in. It gives it a nice, deep, rich color when it cooks up, and it's also good because turmeric is anti-inflammatory, so it's a lovely herb for you to use. The next thing I do is I put in this, which is, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's a Thai chili paste. If you don't have this, it's okay. It doesn't, it's not really hot. It just adds a depth of flavor. What I do, what you can substitute for is like tomato paste. Tomato paste works really well. So just a little bit. Of course, we need a little salt. Not too much, just a little bit of salt. And then what I like to add is, in any type of barbecue, when you're baking it, always put a little bit of oil in, just to make sure it helps to crisp out the outer side and retain the moisture in the meat. Otherwise, it tends to get quite dry, and you don't get that luscious shine like you get when you see the chassis hanging in the window. It's like, oh, I want some of that. Okay, now next, this is very, very important, fish sauce. Now you can get fish sauce anywhere. Again, fish sauce, it doesn't make it taste fishy, it just adds that depth of flavor again, which is really, really important in a lot of Asian cooking. If you don't have it, then it kind of makes it a little flat or a little bland, kind of like, you know, doesn't have a lot of flavor. I also put it in my soups when I make broth, so it's great for broths. Okay, the other thing I want to do is I want to add in some soy sauce. Again, what we're trying to do is layer on that rich flavor, okay? Just a little bit. As you can see, I'm not putting a lot of everything in there. Now, the next thing I want to do is add some lime. The citric acid is really important in helping to cut some of that fat when someone eats it. And I don't know if you guys know this, but citric acid or limes or anything like that, citrusy, lemons, limes, actually helps to bring out the flavor. It enhances the flavor naturally in a lot of foods. So I tend to put it in my baking and cooking and as well. Now, another thing that is people really don't think about, but it's actually the secret in a lot of things, is you add a little bit of vinegar. Again, the lime gives you that acid side, but the vinegar just kind of makes it pop just a little bit more. And you don't need a lot, literally just a little bit. Okay? Now, the next thing I like to do, just to add a little bit of more richness, is I like to use some type of curry paste. Now, these are Thai curry paste. Choose whatever you want, one you want, green, red. This is masala. And you can use any one you want. If you don't, you can also use curry powder, but be careful. Dry curry powder is quite strong, a little bit. You can also use masala, a little bit of it. So again, you don't need a lot. So as you can see here, this is all I've put in. Just for all this meat, just that. And like I said, this is a good one I like to use a lot because it's not hot, it's kind of just rich. Again, if you can imagine this combined together with your chili paste or your tomato paste, really deepens the flavor, and it actually makes it brown up quite well. All right, so that's in there. Now, this is the fun part. I like to add a little bit of coconut milk to make it creamy. Now, you can put cream in if you want. For the Asian flavor, we tend to use coconut milk. This is a really good thick one. I don't want to actually make it too liquidy. I just want sort of the fat and the richness from the, oh, sorry, I had to do that, from the cream to really just bring out that flavor and also make the marinade, help the marinade stick a little bit more while it is either grilling or baking. So again, you can use this recipe to grill or bake. If you want to use this recipe to fry, of course you would slice the pork up differently, but always go against the grain and thinner, and this makes a really good stir fry. All right, the last part before I get into the fun of mixing all of this is to put in a little bit of the sprinkling of the sesame seeds. Sesame seeds are so good for you. They're so rich in many different vitamins. They add a nice punch of flavor without the heaviness of carbs or sugar or anything like that. Now, talking about carb or sugar, up to you. I'm on a carbless diet, or a keto diet, so I tend not to put sugar in. A lot of recipes call for things like honey. You can put in jam. If you like, you can put a little bit of orange juice, whatever you are comfortable with using to sweeten it up a little bit. You do need to balance that sweet, sour, deep, savory, and if you do like it spicy and hot, you can put a little chili powder. That's the thing I love about this recipe. It's really your recipe, where you start off with the base of what I've showed you, and then you just make it your own. So I'm going to sprinkle some equal in there because I like the sweetener. Find it tastes good. Okay, now you can't get away from this. This is the, okay, I'm going to turn this around. This is the fun part of people who really love to cook. You just got to get your hands in there and mix it up. Okay, so here we go. Oh, it's so nice. Of course, clean hands, please. And of course, you can use gloves. But my hands are very clean. And this is the old grandma style, of course. I'm doing it. Okay, so do you see how rich and like it actually feels really good? It's very therapeutic. I love this part about baking and cooking. It's very organic. And the smell as you do this is absolutely amazing because you can smell the sesame oil and the crushed, the crushed spices and the curry and chili and the sesame oil again and the lime, and it's just lovely. Okay, so this is really well mixed, as you can see. It doesn't have to get inside, it just coats it. Now, of course, if you want a deeper flavor, I would take this and I would put it in the refrigerator for maybe an hour or so. But because this is such a rich marinade, oftentimes I just take it just like this and go from marinade right into the oven or right onto the grill. You don't need it to sit very long. It's very, very good. All right, so now that this is all marinated, just leave it, or you can use it right away, and I will put it into I have a convection oven, and I'll show you that in just 1 second.